Congratulations on being elected to Congress the same year you were old enough to rent a car.
There we go. Yep.
Who have you bonded with in Congress? I mean, I'm guessing the squad, obvs, but any oldies?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I want to say their names now because now I'm calling them oldies.
I mean, more mature.
Look, there's so many people that I've gotten to connect with. Folks who've been just doing great work. Barbara Lee, Maxine Waters, Pramila Jayapal, Jamie Raskin.
Yes.
So many amazing people out there. I wouldn't call them oldies, but senior members of Congress who are doing amazing work.
Yeah, they're not oldies, they're goodies.
Yeah, they're goodies. There we go.
You have been and I find this so impressive and inspiring, especially to people out here. You've been a gun reform advocate since you were 15 years old. Spurred on by Sandy Hook, which was in Connecticut. You're from Florida, and you organized the March for Our Lives. All these things that,
I got my pin on, too.
It's the 5-year anniversary of the Parkland shooting. There was a school shooting just last night at Michigan State. Now that you are in Congress, what do you think can be done? How can we break this cycle?
Yeah, well, we saw Congress pass a bipartisan bill to help end gun violence last year. It's not everything that we need, but it's a good step forward. The fact of the matter is we need a governing majority that's actually going to care about this issue. And, this word bipartisanship is supposed to mean what everyone can agree on. Most NRA members and Republicans are for universal background checks, but the definition of bipartisanship in Congress means what the NRA will allow. And because they're a front for the gun lobby, they have these politicians bought off, and they're unwilling to stand up for what the people want. So we can't get things like background checks passed. And so there's a lot of work that needs to be done. A lot of it involves kicking people out and replacing them with morally just leaders who actually give a damn about children's lives and people in this country. But in the interim, I think we have an opportunity.
I mean, overturning Citizens United would certainly help with that.
100%. Yep. That's one of the issues to end all issues.
Yeah, that's the big one, and that's the root of so much of this. So now that you've seen how Congress operates kind of from the inside, are you hopeful? Or do you see that there's change possible? Are you excited about America's future, or is it depressing?
Both. Right. I'll say I'm very hopeful. A lot of times on the outside, you might look in and say, there's only a small group of good people and everyone else is a corporate hack and they don't care about anyone. But having conversations with my colleagues, I've been so surprised by so many people who I get into conversation with them and I find out what they're about and their values. And I'm like, okay, you're actually a lot more progressive and forward thinking than other folks might think. And I think the problem is people have smaller goals because they understand the landscape and the battlefield that we have in Congress right now. And I think when we show those politicians and everyone that good policy equals good politics, then I think people will get the courage that they need to stand up for what we need in this country.
More of this. I mean, I think a lot of Gen Zers tend to not trust the government. How do you think you can change their minds?
Well, I understand, first off, and this is something running for Congress, I had to think about the fact that during the Black Lives Matter protests, I was tear gassed, maced, arrested, and jailed for nonviolent protests. Now I represent those same streets in Congress, but I still have to square the fact that I'm a part of the system that causes a lot of harm, and I get it. And I think part of what we need to do is make government more accessible, bridging the gap between cool and consciousness. And I think that's a really good way that we can bring younger people into the fold. And March for Our Lives did a great job of that, and with the movement. It was like the cool thing to be at the marches. It was the cool thing to register to vote. And I think the more we can get our culture intertwined with the politics, I think it's going to lead to more young people getting involved.
I mean, if the marches could translate to votes more directly, it would be ideal.
Yeah, there you go.
But, maybe election day off would be a nice start.
Exactly. And, I agree. And voter turnout is up for young people. We have record highs of youth voter turnout. It's never been the largest piece of the pie, but young people right now are voting at higher numbers than any other generation when they were our age, and half of Gen Z can't even vote yet. So we're not where we want to be, but we're going in the right direction.
You brought Pussy Ass Bitch. It's now in congressional record because of you. So I just... definitely want to thank you for that.
And that was about a certain person, too.
It was about, well, it was about a pussy-ass bitch. So what's so inspiring about you is that you got involved as a teenager and how that can manifest into real change.
Yeah.
And so I think it's exciting. Gen Z is so exciting to me because they're so motivated. They realize their power.
Yep.
And that can really change things. I mean, trying to get Gen Z to trust the government, how about just trying to get Gen Z to be the government?
Yeah.
And I think you've done that.
No, it is exciting. And I think we see a lot of young candidates running across the country. And look, it's not like Gen Z was waiting to get in Congress. I'm the oldest a Gen Zer can be. We just got old enough to run. But I think the significance here is that the first chance we got, we jumped at the opportunity because we want to be a part of the solution. We want to be at the table. We don't want to be the only people at the table, but Congress does not look like our country right now, right? Like Gen Z and millennials make up a third of the country. We're nowhere near a third of government, both local and federal. And so we need more people to run for office. Yes, Congress, but also city council, county commission, these seats that really are, they're not lower, they're closer to the people and closer to the decisions that matter on a daily basis.
Yeah, being involved in the midterm elections and everywhere down the ballot is essential. And I feel like the right realizes that.
Yeah. They do, and they're more organized around that than we are. That's why they've played this long game of taking over these state legislatures. It's why we woke up last year and Roe versus Wade was gone. That's a plan that has been a long time in the making. So Democrats, I feel like sometimes we're too obsessed with these short-term goals. We need to be about power building in these communities long-term. It's not going to happen overnight, but that's how we're going to wake up one morning and have our freaking rights back, right?
Yeah.